Are you interested in leveling up as quickly as possible in Fallout 76? In this video, we're going to go over every detail that you'll need to do exactly that. Whether you're a human character, a ghoul character, a bloodied ghoul character, and what that even is, and if it's even possible. We're also going to do a beginner build. It's a low level with minimal options. And also, guys, for the sake of not making this video an hour long, we won't be getting into how to get every single item that you see here. If you have any questions about that, feel free to leave a comment below. By the end of this video, no matter what type of character you are, or whatever your playstyle is, you'll have the tools that you need to get as much XP in the least amount of time as possible. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Well, the first thing you'll want to do when you spawn in is either create a casual team if there isn't one already, or join a pre-existing casual team. Ideally one that has 3 people on it. There you go. Now we have 4 people on a casual team. So when those blue status bars fill up, we're going to get +4 intelligence. Here's the special distribution for the human character. The only 2 things here that really matter are 15 charisma and 15 intelligence. Obviously, the higher your intelligence, the more XP you get from enemies and events. But now that the charisma card inspirational stacks based on your charisma, you also want to boost your charisma as high as possible. So here's the human perk card loadout for this specific setup. Obviously, charisma at 15 and intelligence at 15 is the first thing. But the rest of these, as far as strength, agility, etc., are going to vary based on what you want your build to be. Are you going to use heavy guns? Are you going to use melee weapons? Are you going to use commando? Whatever it is, your build doesn't have to look exactly like this. The necessary perk cards: Night Person, rank 3 in Perception. Now, you put your Perception at 6, so that way you can include Fire in the Hole and Grenadier if you want to do West Tek runs. Fire in the Hole helps you throw the grenades in the right spots. Grenadier, obviously, you get twice the radius of the grenade. You don't have to have Chem Fiend, but doubling the duration of the buried mentats that are giving you that +5 intelligence is really helpful. Another necessary perk card here is going to be Inspirational. This is the main reason why we're boosting charisma so high. Magnetic Personality makes sense because you get +6 charisma if you're on a full team. Strange in Numbers is another must-have because this is going to help World Scorch Beast Brain and Brain Bombs to give you +8 intelligence at a +6, and this is going to help your Cranberry Relish or Tasty Squirrel Stew to give you that full 25% extra XP. So just to kind of reiterate this, these are the only things on a human character that are actually increasing intelligence and or XP earned. These are a must. If you're doing West Tek runs with Nuka Grenades, 2 other things you'll want also is Adrenaline. Adrenaline did change for the better. You can get up to 100% damage if you're on a 10 kill streak. So if you can get a 10 kill streak while running through West Tek and throwing the grenades and stuff, you're going to be doing 100% extra damage with the grenades, which is crazy. Also, Bloody Mess will also apply to the Nuka Grenade. Nerd Rage. This perk card changed, but for the better. What we're getting right now at 16% health, 37% extra damage, 14% AP regen, which is awesome. Definitely want to have this on for a bloodied build. Absolutely. Demolition Expert. This is if you're going to be using Nuka Grenades in West Tek. You definitely want to boost the grenade damage as much as possible. Science, because there's an Auto Axe and a Warglaive that we have in this loadout that have the electrified mods on them. It makes a lot of sense for you to run the new variation of these science cards that are scaling damage based on intelligence because of how high your intelligence is going to be. Ricochet. This one's really good for XP. Ricochet will proc and tag an enemy even if you're not hitting that enemy. The legendary perk card loadout. Now this is an in-game build for a human character, so you can see there's 5 special cards and then taking one for the team. This is going to be the armor for a human character. The main 2 things that you're going to want are 1st star unyielding, 2nd star intelligence. When we're all the way down with full unyielding at 20% health, we get +3 to all special stats. So this one piece is giving us 5 intelligence. Now, Cavaliers and Miasmas are up to you. It depends on your build and what you think would work the best. Miasmas on at least 1 piece is great though. Miasmas can tag more enemies. The more enemies you can tag, the more XP you get. This is Secret Service on all pieces with Buttress and Ultralight build. Now on the other 4 pieces, Sawbones is a good recommendation to get health regeneration. Now you could run tankies on some of these pieces. At bare minimum, you would want Miasmas, 4 Sawbones, maybe Miasmas with 1 tankies and then 3 Sawbones. Armor choice is up to you. Secret Service, Civil Engineer, whatever. Now underneath your armor, you're going to want to wear Shielded Casual Underarmor lining. That's going to give you +3 charisma and +3 intelligence. This goes underneath the armor so you can wear your unyielding and intelligence armor on top of this and get even more. There's a couple different ways to get the Shielded Casual Underarmor. One, you can do Queen of the Hunt event. It's only a 5% drop drop. So it's actually a pretty rare drop from this event. Your best bet to get one of these might just be to find a higher level character that already has this plan learned, that's willing to just put this on something for you. It's super cheap to make at that point. You might also get lucky and find somebody selling this in their vendor. I usually keep a few of these in the vendor for pretty cheap. So if you're on PC and want to come by, you can just purchase those, or honestly, I'll just drop a bunch for you. The flannel shirt and jeans can be found here. Also, the lesser equivalent of shielded lining casual Under Armor. You find these a lot easier, but they're not going to give you the full buffs like the shielded lining casual Under Armor is. The undershirt and jeans plan to be able to make that can also be found in the same location. So this is the undershirt and jeans. Protective, resistant, and treated will still give you intelligence. So if you don't have shielded yet, these are still a decent option, but shielded is the best. The weapons that you'll need to get max XP are pretty simple. You really just need any weapon that has 3-star intelligence. For this specific setup, we are running Bloodied, especially now that Bloodied has the buff to it where we get up to 130% extra damage as health increases. So big buff there for that. What kind of weapon you choose is really going to depend on your build and your preference. Other good options to have intelligence on weapons are fire weapons like the Holy Fire or the Cremator, and then running vampires. This is going to help you to stay alive while you're bloodied, because running a max intelligence, max charisma build, you're not really going to have much left for other perk cards to help you survive more, even if your endurance is at 15. The other great thing too about the Cremator is running Grenadier. The explosion radius is a lot wider, so we tag more enemies, and especially with multi-shot barrel. This is a great setup for XP grinding. This is another example of a weapon that you could run for intelligence. Again, we've got vampires, so that way we can stay alive a little bit longer. You can see here at just only 69 intelligence, science is giving us plus 46% energy damage. So that means our Warglaive is doing 2100 energy damage per hit, which is nuts. Because we're boosting our intelligence super hard, you're going to get a lot of benefits from these perk cards that are boosting intelligence, like science and pyrotechnician. And then of course for the West Tek runs, we have our Nuka Grenades. Nuka Grenades are made out of Tinker's Workbench by combining frag grenades and Nuka Colas. And when you do that, make sure you have super duper on so you can get more out of it. This is the other weapon we're going to be using in this video. This is specifically for West Tek, because whenever you throw the Nuka Grenade inside of West Tek, everything that is on this weapon, these 4-star rolls and this 20% armor penetration, applies to the Nuka Grenade. They changed instigating to where it's only 50% damage to targets above 60% health. It made a lot more sense to swap out instigating for Bloody, because now 15% health, we're getting 116% extra damage. Bloodied is definitely the best bet for throwing the grenade. 50% limb damage, which is going to synergize really well with fracturers. Obviously you want plus 3 intelligence, and then the armor piercing receiver for that 20% armor penetration. You don't have to use the Elder's Mark when throwing the Nuka Grenades in West Tek, but it's highly recommended to have some kind of weapon that has some kind of armor piercing receiver. So here we are loaded up on a ghoul character. This character right now is level 358. Most of these are the same as a human except for one addition. Now we have United Ordeal as a ghoul, which gives you plus 3 to all your special stats when this card's rank 3 and you're on a team with another ghoul. These are the minimum cards that you want as a ghoul in order to get the max amount of XP earned. Now ghouls do have a minus 10 charisma, so you're not going to be able to get as much XP from inspirational, but it's still beneficial to boost your charisma as high as possible. If you're a feral ghoul, you actually get minus 99 charisma. If you want to be a feral ghoul, it doesn't even make sense to try to even really earn XP at that point. This is the loadout right now for the intelligence build on this ghoul character, based around heavy guns, glowing gut, which is for toxic goo, chem fiend to help bury mentats last longer, inspirational, of course. Even though again ghouls are taking a charisma hit, you still want to have this. You still want to have magnetic personality, range of numbers, and then United Ordeal, of course. Whatever build you want to do for a ghoul character is up to you. This specific build is just kind of based around doing explosion damage with some Nuka Grenades perhaps, and using heavy guns. The legendary cards, so not all of them are maxed out yet. Agility is only 2 ranks, charisma is only 2 ranks, intelligence is only 3 ranks, so still working on this. Here's the armor setup for ghouls. This is a little bit more straightforward. 2nd star intelligence on all 5 pieces, and that's really all you need. The 1st star, you do have a couple options. You can do full vanguards on all 5, which will give you added energy resistance and damage resistance based on your health. 3rd star options, you can do, again, kind of whatever you want here. You could do sentinels or cavaliers, or a mix of both, or a weight reduction, whatever you want. And we have miasmas on here to proc and hit nearby enemies. And this piece does also have the biocom mesh, which gives us 50% chem duration. This is a full set of civil engineer. We also get a little bit of that set bonus, 10% fire damage to melee attackers, and our weapons break 30% slower. So just whatever armor you want to use, but the main thing here really for ghouls, you really only got to worry about 2nd star intelligence. The rest is kind of preference at that point. This is the primary weapon for this heavy gunner ghoul character. Anti-armor, explosive as a second star, so that way we can tag more enemies. Intelligence, obviously, so we can get more XP, and then fracturers, so more enemies explode and we can tag more of them. There's also a shredder on this character since ghouls have access to the radioactive strength card and really boosts the damage out of this. So this just has intelligence as a third star, and then fracturers, because fracturers also works on the shredder. Another good option for a weapon for ghouls could be anything that has juggernauts on it. You essentially have 2 health bars. Since you always have glow, you'll always have this bonus going. Now, when it comes to mutations, the 2 most important ones are going to be Egghead, which increases your intelligence, and Herd Mentality, which gives you +3 to all your special stats when you're on a team. Both Egghead and Herd Mentality are further buffed by Strange in Numbers. This character has all mutations popped and knows all of the plans to make all of them. What you could do is run rank 3 of Class Freak, so this would make it to where things like Marsupial that normally have a -4 intelligence debuff would now only have a -1 intelligence debuff. If you don't have the mutations that you want yet, you can hop around to different players' vendors and see if they have any of the serums for sale. A word of advice: any serums that are over 500 caps, you probably shouldn't buy it. Serums need to be listed at less than 500 caps. Another good way to get some serums is to come to the Gleaming Depths raid entrance, and sometimes on the ground you'll see them just randomly laying here from where people have dropped these off from raid rewards. Food buffs you're going to want to run if you're a carnivore are going to be Broiled Scorch Beast Brain. This is going to give you a boost to intelligence. You can get these from killing Scorch Beasts and using their meat to craft it at a cooking station. Tasty Squirrel Stew, which will give XP percentage. So let's say you're carnivore while you're on a team with Strange in Numbers, and that's what these 2 are going to look like. If you're herbivore, for the intelligence boost, one that you would want would be Brain Bombs, and then Cranberry Relish for bonus XP. And then we take a herbivore serum, and then now you can see Brain Bombs is giving us +8. Cranberry Relish is also giving us 25%. If you don't have access to make these food buffs yet, one place you can try is by going to the White Spring Resort and then going to White Spring Refuge. Once you spawn into the refuge, go to the left. Come around this corner over here into this area where it says Esme's Kitchen, and then you're going to sit down at one of these chairs. Once you sit down at the chair, one of these Mr. Waiters will come up. This is going to be random, so you can server hop to maybe get different options. You could just go through here and see if there's anything that's boosting intelligence or XP. Other options that you have for getting food buffs could be Grandma Junko as an ally. You go to I'm in need of your services. Let's see what you've got for sale, and then sometimes she might have things for sale here. So you can see right here, she actually has Brain Bombs for sale. An ally that's even better for food buffs is Yasmin. So you would need Yasmin's cooking stove, and then you talk to her and you go to Let's Talk About Cooking. I want to buy some recipes, and she often has a really good selection of rare food items. Another food item that you could use is Nuka Cola Cranberries. This will give you 6% bonus XP, and also remember this will overwrite other food buffs, so keep that in mind. And then another important food buff for getting max intelligence is Nuka Cola Twists. You run Cola Nut with these, you can get 3 buffs by using one of these. The 3 special buffs that are boost are going to be random, but you just use a twist until you see it show up. As far as aid items are concerned, there are a few buffs that you want to try to get. First main one is going to be Berry Mentats. You can buy these in some vendors sometimes, and also in player vendors. You get that +5 intelligence. The other main things that you'll want are either a Leader's Bobblehead or an Intelligence Bobblehead. The Leader's Bobblehead gives you 5% XP. The Intelligence Bobblehead increases intelligence by 2 points. Whether or not the Intelligence Bobblehead or the Leader's Bobblehead is better depends. At really high levels of intelligence, 70, 80 plus, you're going to be better suited for a Leader Bobblehead. At lower intelligence levels, let's say 20 to 30, you might benefit just the same, if not a little bit more, from using an Intelligence Bobblehead. The reason for this is that intelligence has diminishing returns the higher it goes. Either way, you're kind of splitting hairs. Doesn't really matter. Just use whichever one you got. This is by far the best XP buff in the game. Each lunchbox gives you 25% extra XP. You can use a maximum of 4 of them at a time, or have 4 of them running at a time for an hour. So that gives you 100% extra XP. If you don't listen to anything else in this video as far as how to get more XP, you should use 4 lunchboxes. You could do XL instead of Berry Mentats if that's all you have. You would get the +2 intelligence, but also the +2 charisma, and get a little bit more XP earned from inspirational. As far as magazines are concerned, really the only option for increasing XP earned is going to be the magazine Live and Love 8. If you're running through West Tek, Astoundingly Awesome Tales 2 makes sense, so you could do extra damage to the Super Mutants. This is also a good option for running West Tek to get +30% explosion size. If you don't have a Live and Love 8 magazine, then it's really up to you on what you want to use. For camp buffs, the main things you're going to want are some kind of charisma buff in your camp, like this cinematic right here. Gives you 2 charisma when you use it. Also, the arm wrestling machine can also give you charisma. So the mechanical derby game will give you intelligence. And then you'll also want just any bed in general so you can sleep in it. That'll give you 5% extra XP. And depending on if you have an ally in your camp or not, will dictate the length of the well-rested bonus. And then you can see right now we're well-rested. 5% extra XP for 2 hours. Another camp buff you'll want right here is the Sacred Mothman Tome. You get this one from doing this seasonal Mothman event, the Mothman Equinox. The Mothman Tome, the mechanical derby game, and the arm wrestle machine or the cinematic. If you don't have those, you can also see about maybe a friend or a higher level character dropping those in your camp for you. They could also do that. You can see now we have also, on top of being well rested, we also have Wisdom of the Mothman, which is another 5% extra XP. You can also get XP from the Path of Enlightenment, which is a regular public event. You commune with the Mothman at the end and he'll give you 5% XP. That'll override this one. And then there's the Best Mothman buff, which comes from the seasonal Mothman event, which gives you plus 15% XP for an hour after you commune with the Mothman at the end of that event. But that event is only seasonal, so it doesn't happen all of the time. Options for camp allies that you have is Stephen Scarberry's Shrine. You'll talk to him and then say, I'm in need of your services. And then, can I get Mothman's Blessing? Another ally right here is Camp Ally Leo, putting down Leo's desk, and then say, I have a Nuka Cola for you. And then make sure that you give him a Nuka Cola Cranberry. He will give you a 5% XP buff for an hour. Another camp ally you can add on there is the new Dottie ally, which is from the Gone Fission season 21. Talk to her and then go to I'm ready to start learning. And what she's done, she's going to give you unshakable beliefs, plus 30% energy resist, but plus 1 intelligence. So we're on our human character, just made sure we had all the buffs running, so we're maxed out. Blessing of the True Mothman. You cannot have this Mothman bonus and the Mothman bonus from the tome going at the same time. Either use the Mothman tome for that 5% or from Steven. Don't use both. Leo, a cranberry, so we have that 5% from him. And then we still have 4 lunchboxes going. There also is a well-rested bonus from sleeping in this cryogenic bed, but for some reason it's not showing, so this is just a bug or a glitch or something, and that gives us 86 intelligence. So right now, with a leader's bobblehead, we're at 86 intelligence. If you were using an intelligence bobblehead, you could get this to 88, and 88 intelligence would be the cap right now for a human character. Bloodied Ghoul. Is it possible? Does it even make sense to do it? Well, you can, and it's a little bit easier than you might think. With that being said, it's kind of up to you to decide whether or not it's even worth it to try this or maintain it. You can see here, 18% health, and we have full unyielding. So we're getting the full unyielding bonus, and this is the Bloodied Ghoul loadout right now. Obviously, you want United Ordeal. In order to even make this work, you need a weapon that will do self-damage. So something like the Cremator or some kind of a weapon that has explosive as the second star. And normally with a human bloodied, you would increase radiation to maintain 20% or less health. But here, since you don't have radiation, you have to rely on damaging yourself in order to get your health at 20. So let's say in this specific situation, your health's at 35, you would just shoot the ground with something. You can still use toxic goo even if you don't have glow to heal yourself, because using toxic goo when you don't have any glow will still heal you, but it doesn't heal you much, and that's part of the key to maintaining this. Right now, health is at 17%, glowing gut maxed out. We'll use 1 toxic goo and it only goes up 2%. So if we use a couple more, you can just shoot the ground with an explosive weapon or shoot the wall or something and then get our health back down. Just did Radiation Rumble. It seemed like it was going to be pretty obnoxious. Honestly, it's really not any different than micromanaging rads as a human bloodied character. The only thing you got to make sure of is that there's no health regeneration happening from food or mutations. Utilizing the Cremator to do damage to get the health down if it's too high. Also the explosive 50 cal. So it's actually a little bit easier than you might have thought to maintain 20% health and stay in nerd rage and get the full unyielding bonus. Why would you want to do this? What would be the point? You would want to do this to get more intelligence, to get more XP if you didn't want to change over to a human character to really max out your XP, because a Bloodied Ghoul will hit the highest intelligence amount that you can hit possible in the game right now. There it is. Holy crap. This is nuts. This is the reason why you might even consider doing a Bloodied Ghoul character. 91 intelligence is extreme. Whether or not you think that it's viable to maintain being a Bloodied Ghoul for this ridiculously high intelligence amount is up to you. You can do this, but whether or not it makes sense to, Here is the level 94 beginner character. No resources were taken from any high-level account. The only things that are on this character are things that were earned from the game. No atoms were used to buy lunchboxes, anything like that. This is just all things that we've picked up in the game. Now, the only thing that is a little bit different that some people might not have access to right away is the cremator, but you can use any weapon. This weapon, though, we did get lucky on stream. Randomly rolling this the first time gave us 3-star intelligence, which was pure luck. So even the 3-star intelligence that's on this was not from a mod box. Here's the armor that we're using for this. These are all pieces of armor that have dropped randomly from enemies and doing events. None of this was handed to this character. This was just things that we acquired by playing the game. This one is charisma piece, so we're getting +2 charisma there. This one also has charisma on it. This piece has intelligence on it, and this one is actually unyielding and charisma. And then the chest piece is also unyielding and charisma. This is what the stats look like for this character right now at the moment. We did get some berry mentats from doing some vendor hopping. This is the loadout right now for this level 94 character. Night person, inspirational, magnetic personality, strange in numbers. Again, these are the main things that you want. And we do have 15 charisma and 15 intelligence. And then these are the legendary cards. Because the level 94 character starting out would not have access to all of them yet, we've only equipped 2. So you get your first legendary slot at 50, you get your second legendary slot at 75. It would be wise when you unlock your first legendary slot at level 50, put that intelligence card in there. When you unlock your next slot at 75, put the charisma one in there. Any perk cards that you get from opening the packs that you aren't going to use, scrap them and then use those coins to level up this intelligence even more. At only level 94 has 49 intelligence already. Another important thing that you want to do when you're a beginner character is join public events. So right now we are in the public event Safe and Sound. When you're in this public event, you just want to tag enemies, not necessarily worrying about killing them. Public events show up every 20 minutes, so on the hour, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, etc. There'll be a public event, so make sure you join those and tag as many enemies as possible. Even if somebody else kills the enemy, we still get the XP for it. We did get 3 legendary modules for completing that event, which is great. You can use these legendary modules to roll a weapon to maybe get intelligence on it. The other thing that you'll get from events are treasury notes, which you can turn in at gold machines, and this is going to be the thing that'll help you to get lunch boxes. Then what you can do is once you earn enough treasury notes, you can go to foundation, fast travel, exterior. It's going to run up through the entrance here down to the back. This guy right here named Samuel, and then use whatever gold bullion you have to buy these lunch boxes. So there we got 2 and we have 60 gold left. So even though we only have 2 lunch boxes right now, that's still going to give us 50% extra XP, which is huge, especially for a level 94. Since lunch boxes are the most important XP tool that you have, you definitely want to prioritize these as a low level character. The West Tek method for farming XP involves using the Nuka Grenades and the certain weapon that we talked about earlier in the video, running around West Tek, getting kills, using Nuka Grenades to clear the rooms quickly, and then resetting them. In order to get the Super Mutants to reset and respawn, you have to complete a certain Brotherhood quest line where you go into West Tek. Once you're in West Tek, you can go into your Pit-Boy, into data, side missions, and then miscellaneous, and then you can see learn the secrets of West Tek. Once you do this mission and complete it, you'll be able to have the Super Mutants respawn for you. You'll want to make sure you have going our adrenal reaction for the kill streaks. This will make the Nuka Grenades do more damage, especially when you combine that with adrenaline, which will give you plus 100% damage when you're on a max kill streak of 10. So this combined with adrenal reaction, if you're on a 10 kill streak, you get over 160% extra damage. So that's going to make the Nuka Grenades work way better. And it's pretty easy when you're doing these West Tek runs to stay on a 10 kill streak. Also want to make sure that you have fire in the hole and Grenadier for your Nuka Grenades as well, and demolition expert. So we've got our Nuka Grenades, our primary weapon that's going to take out the 6 or 7 Super Mutants in the hallways, so that way we can get a kill streak and adrenal reaction going. And then we have our West Tek Elder's Mark, which we're going to use when we throw the grenades. So we equip our main weapon. We're going to walk and run in here, take this guy out, take this guy out, take that guy out, him out, run down to this way, guy out, and then this hound dog. And you can see in the lower corner we're on a 7 kill streak. So we're going to equip the weapon for throwing the Nuka Grenades, and then we're going to throw it straight down the middle all the way against the wall. 27,000 XP. And then for this one, it's going to go in between this and this, about right here. And then we're going to throw it there, run away, another 18,000. And then we're going to run down here. We'll be able to unlock this terminal because we've already completed the Secrets of West Tek side quest. We're going to open this elevator first, not go in it. We're going to throw the 3rd grenade right in this area, and then as soon as we throw it, go down the elevator, because if you're anywhere near that Nuka grenade, it'll kill you. So what we'll do now is we'll keep running down this area, jump over this. There'll be a few super mutants in these couple of rooms. Take out that suicider guy, or let him do it itself. We're gonna run down this next part to this laser grid. Take this guy out. If you have a cremator or something, you might be able to get this guy back here. And then we're going to run back up, go back into the elevator, back where we came from, and then hopefully these super mutants are going to respawn. You can see that this door is open. Now, if you go all the way down to the bottom and then you come back up, if this door is open, that means they haven't reset yet. If you go up this elevator and come back into this room and that door is closed, then you're good to restart it again. Sometimes they reset when you come back up, sometimes they don't. If you come back up and they have not reset and this door is open, then that means you just need to wait 30 seconds to a minute and then go back in and you can repeat the process. If you've got somebody to help you out, doing West Tek as a team is actually a lot faster. Whoever the party leader on that team is, you would go in first, and then the rest of your teammates would follow you in. Once everybody's in West Tek, then all you need is one person to just do the clearing method. Take out the 6 to 7 super mutants first, and then throw your Nuka grenades in the 3 rooms. Once you throw the grenade in the 3rd room, the run's done, and then you can just go back outside. Once everybody's back outside, change party leaders, and then that party leader will now go in, and you guys can repeat the process. Expeditions could also be a potential good option for you to run XP. You just need to complete the responders quests in order to unlock this. It's pretty easy. But once you have that unlocked, whoever the team leader is needs to start the expedition. You would go to the top right, hit R, go to Atlantic City, Boardwalk, and then start new expedition. Now, depending on which type of objectives you have to do for this certain expedition, will depend on the time that it takes to complete it. But another good method for these is to run as a casual team throughout the expedition. So that way you get a little bit more XP per enemy, tagging enemies on the way. And then at the end of the exhibition, right before you turn it in, switch the team to an expedition team. So that way all of that XP that it gives you at the very end is now doubled if you have 4 people on the team. Another good option for XP are the raids. Get a lot of XP at the end of each stage, even in the first stage with the Guardian. Raids are great because they also give you a lot of rewards. So you get a lot of mod boxes, also get 3-star, 4-star legendaries, a lot of good plans. But if you're running a max charisma, max intelligence build through the raids, it can be pretty difficult to even just stay alive and help it off. So if you're going to use raids as an option for XP, you probably need to have a team of 3 other people that are either willing to carry you through the raid, or you just maybe hop on a random team and still help out as much as you can. Either way, even if you maybe sacrifice some of that intelligence to increase a decent amount of survivability, you're still going to get a ton of XP from raids. If you do manage to get to the end of the raid with a high intelligence, high charisma build, you can definitely hit the 300,000 cap for XP. Which of these methods is going to be best overall as far as XP per minute earned to help you level up the fastest? We're looking at West Tek Solo, West Tek Team, Expeditions, and Raids. West Tek Solo, so this is just you by yourself going in there with no one else. It was somewhere around 51,000 XP per minute. Now, this was with 3 full runs without having to do a reset. On the 4th run, they didn't respawn, so we're just counting the 3 runs here. The benefits to doing this solo is you don't need a team. You don't need anyone. You just go in and run it by yourself. The downsides to this are you're not going to get as much XP as you would with a team. On a team, we got anywhere from 59,000 XP per minute all the way up to 79,000. A little bit of variability here, but this is going to depend on what your intelligence and charisma is at that time, because it fluctuates. It's also going to depend on how you throw the grenades, how many super mutants got taken out, etc. The upside to doing West Tek teams is very high XP per minute. The downside is you have to have a team that's willing to do this, at least one other person that's willing to switch party leader back and forth. Expeditions. Now you can kind of see already that the XP earned per minute on these is a lot lower than West Tek. 3 times that we ran it here, we had the escortee mission, and then 2 other times we had the throw the tomatoes mission. Didn't manage to get a Shark's Den option spawning, and the Shark's Den option might be about the same, if not a little bit more than these 2 quests. The great thing about Expeditions is they're super easy to get into. You don't need any Nuka grenades. You don't have to throw Nuka grenades. You don't have to rely on that at all. You just need to complete the mission. Also, Expeditions give you really good rewards. They give you stamps, they give you legendaries. Now, the raids. This is the one that everybody says is going to typically be the most amount of XP that you're going to earn. The problem with raids are they can take a long time. There's probably somebody watching this right now that has the best 4-person raid team that Fallout 76 has ever seen, and you guys can really cut down on these minutes. So perhaps your XP per minute in that specific situation, would be a lot higher. And for you, that might be the best option as far as XP per minute. However, if you're in a team that just does some raids here here and there and you guys aren't super min-maxing it, or if you're just on a team with a bunch of randoms, the amount of time that it actually takes to complete the raid is going to be all over the place. You can see that this one took 21 minutes, but this one only took 16 minutes. So that's 5 minutes faster. The upsides to doing raids for XP are you get the best rewards in the game. The downside to raids is if you're running a high intelligence or charisma build, you pretty much need to be carried through it. Since the raids are the most difficult content in the game, they're still out of reach for a lot of new players. There's some beginner players that haven't even done a raid yet, much less even completed one because of how difficult they are. It's really up to you to decide which one of these options is going to be the best for farming XP. Most people are going to say the raids, but getting 108,000 XP in 1.3 minutes is an insane amount of XP. Now, if you were only doing raids, farming the snake boss, and that was it, that would probably be the best XP per minute in the game. However, I didn't really include that in this video because that's kind of more of an exploit. You have to have a second account. You have to bring your alt in. Someone has to kill themselves and then bring the person in. And it's like this whole process. It's not obtainable for most people. So which method do you prefer for farming XP? And what's the highest intelligence that you've ever gotten to? Also, if you learned anything from this video, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for coming by. We'll see you in the next one. Quickly as possible in Fallout 76. Ha!